Well, one thing's for sure. One set of split squats is much more beneficial than bloody 30 minutes of statically stretching the hip flexors and the quads. I don't know what the point of static stretching is. I'm sure in some applications there is benefit, but when you compare dynamic stretching and PNF stretching to static stretching, I don't know, it's almost like the body gives you a middle finger every time you try to do something, make some sort of change to the tissue when you're statically stretching. I feel like the body just gives you the finger. Whereas when there's movement, or where you are actually doing something like a split squat, and you're accessing these end ranges of motion, the body's like, okay, crap, there is something to be done here. We need to access this range, and we need to work this out. And the nervous system starts to work itself out to achieve this. But static stretching is basically nervous system off. There is a force being applied to your body, and the body's like, okay, we need to resist this. Whatever the hell is going on here, we need to resist. So in one way, dynamic and PNF stretching is like the body's trying to achieve something with you. Static stretching, it's like almost like a threat, and the body locks up even further. Man, I've done I've had hot periods of stretching over the last decade, and I've been so disheartened, so little progress with it, that I've always kind of been hot and cold with it. I understand the benefit of being long and strong, but I just put so much energy into it and nothing happens. And, you get disheartened and you move away from it. You might be different, but I don't particularly get freaking excited about stretching. I'm interested in the benefit of stretching, but I don't really want to spend that much time into it if it's going to be that much of a time investment. But this dynamic stuff, doing these split squats, I'm not doing the greatest job with them, but I'm very stiff through the quads and the hip flexors. You can see it. But, just a few sets of these. I did 5 sets of 10 here, and I went to squats after that, and it felt pretty good, man. I must say, it felt pretty good. It felt like I made a change, and that change stuck with me for the rest of the session. Whereas in the last couple of weeks, maybe ever since I implemented the hack squats, I've tried to do like the kneeling, when you go on one leg on your knee, kneeling quad stretch. And I've even tried to do a bit of PNF, forcing my shoe into the ground. And it wasn't as good as this. This is really, really good. It makes me think of the knees over toes guy. He's a big proponent of his regressions and progressions of the split squat. Makes me think I think there will be a lot of benefit for me to do some of these things, some of these ideas that he's come up with, to just add length to the quads, especially now that I'm hammering them, man. Yesterday I did 7 sets of 10 on hack squats. I know it sounds crazy, and all of those sets were tough. I wanted to do 5, but then the missus messaged me. She was like, can you get the kids from school? I'm like, yeah, no worries, but that means I've got another 30 minutes in the gym before I can, leave and be on time for the school. So I just, instead of just sitting around in the gym, I ended up doing more sets. And so that type of session would produce lots and lots of freaking quad tightness. But it seems like the split squats today, just a few of them, man, a few sets, I started to feel the release. So it's kind of made me kind of excited, to be honest with you, to stretch in this way and see the progress. Automatically I'm thinking, wow, imagine if I could do split squats, front splits, I know the knees over toes guy has achieved very, very good, really, really good flexibility through just doing this type of stuff. And I don't know if he does any static stretching at all. And there's been many other people, I remember Juji Mufu talking about how he got to his splits, and all he ever talked about and emphasized about was you need to get stronger in these positions, not just sit there like a lunatic for an hour at a time. You need to actually contract, maintain these things. So, for splits, middle splits, spread your legs like you're standing, right? Spread your legs all the way out, reach out as much as you can, but don't just sit there. Try and contract those adductors in that range. Basically, PNF stretching. Maybe add some weight in that position. Get stronger. It seems like strength is a recurrent thing, man. Strength is the mother of all physical disciplines, and it like everything else is based upon strength. So if you start working for that strength in those positions, it's almost like the nervous system is like, cool, we are safe. So let's unlock this range for you, because we know now that you're not going to break anything because you are strong in that position. And that kind of makes sense, in a lot of ways. It makes sense that this was going to work. So I think I'm done with this freaking static stretching business, man. If I have some time, just get into a split squat and do a few freaking reps, man. Control it, go slow. I don't think it's about weight at all. You need some resistance, but it's about exploring that range with a little bit of resistance. But the exploration is the key. It's the control. And basically all you need is your body weight, man. Master your own body weight and you go a long, long way. So, I'm going to try and antidote the hack squat negative effects with split squats. Let's see how that pans out for me. And obviously, the common sense here is also to train the opposite part of the hack squats, which is the hamstrings and the glutes. And so, I'm doing a lot of sets. I think today I did 5, 6, 7, 8. I did 10 sets of this machine. Just sitting there and do as much as I can. Initially I started doing it in this kind of like bent over position, but then I realized if I stand straight up, which I don't think I recorded any of those sets, if I just basically in a standing position, the hamstrings get a better workout with less weight. I think it's because the lower back stays away from it. You can see how my back is trying to contribute. The erectors are trying to influence the pelvis and help the hamstrings in achieving this movement. But yeah, there's things I can do. Obviously, stretch the tight stuff through a dynamic PNF, proprio. I don't know if you guys know, proprioceptive neuromuscular facilitation is like a fancy word to basically mean contract the thing that you're stretching, and you will have better effects at stretching. Don't just sit there in a cold muscle, stretching a cold muscle. And when I say cold muscle, I think there's pretty good evidence to show that static stretching actually makes the muscle colder, which is basically the opposite of what we're trying to do. Whereas if you start contracting that muscle, it gets warmer, longer, and you just have a better freaking time doing whatever you're trying to do. So, you're talking about something that you're not freaking all that hot about. Might as well pick out the most effective thing to achieve what you need to achieve with it, and then run away from it. I don't know. I think, anytime you do something in life and you see zero outcomes, you see zero light at the end of the tunnel, it's very disheartening, and especially if you have half an interest in it, you kind of just want to let it go. So for those things, when you find something that really works, then you kind of get more excited about it. It's only natural. You get more excited about it, like, I want to stretch some more. So now I'm like, when I think about stretching, I'm thinking about split squatting, And you can apply that same thing to anything. Like if you want to open up your thoracic spine, do some like loaded pec flies. That is a freaking amazing exercise. It opens you right up, man. It really forces that thoracic spine, that whole pec to thoracic spine relationship just really opens your shoulders up. Next minute, your traps can work better, your rhomboids can work better, your lats can work better, because these pecs, which have been tying you down, have now been released, and you feel a little better. It's just a better way to go about it. Appreciate you guys. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.